My name's Britt, and I'm from the biology department, and I've been here, this is my 7th year here at Rhode Island College. Somewhere in the advertising there was a line about giving writing assignments that you would enjoy reading, and that kind of resonated with me, so I was intrigued by that. So I was hoping that working with other people, working with writing experts, because I was never trained to teach writing or to evaluate writing. I'm a researcher, I'm a biologist, that was never part of my training. So I was hoping that by working with people who had that type of training, that I would be able to do that better. I used to think about writing kind of, I don't know if I want to say an old-fashioned point of view, where you give an assignment, the student completes an assignment and turns it in and you grade it. But now I realize that writing can be, number one, much more dynamic than that, and that writing can be so much more versatile than that. I never realized the number of different types of writing assignments you can give. I had never heard the term low stakes writing before, and I realized that writing can be a really versatile tool with a number of different applications. So micro is a big class. It's usually about 50 students, 48 students, 50 students. So it would be tough for me to give writing assignments across the semester. It's just really tough to grade. So, but I have incorporated the low stakes writing. Just really quick, a couple of questions, they write them down, and I use it as a basis for discussion. So one of the things is I will ask them questions in class and nobody wants to answer. They're all very quiet, they stare at their desks. So if I have them write them down first, and then I will say, read me your answer. So they can't escape that because they had to have written something down. So we can use that. It gives me instant feedback as to whether they understood or not. It gives them instant feedback as to whether they got it right or not. And they can sit there in class and write down the correct answer as we talk about it. And then I have them hand it in and they get 1 point. So it's a class participation point. If they attend, they get a little bit of a reward, but it's not enough to make or break them across the semester. So it's a nice way of incorporating writing. It gives me a little bit of a peek into their brain, how they're thinking, with a big class. The second thing that I've done that this has really helped me with is being more deliberate in my writing assignments. So for senior seminar, where we do a lot of writing, it used to be I would get the papers back and I'm like, this is not what I expected. This isn't what I wanted. Why aren't they giving me back what I want here? But I realized, you can't complain about not getting what you wanted. If you're not, that's a sign that you're maybe you weren't making your expectations clear. And so I've been very deliberate about going back through my writing assignments, breaking them down, and making them very like stepwise. Gone through, your first mission is, your objective is, the purpose of this assignment is, step 1 you should do, and going through and actually giving them very deliberate directions. And so I've become much better at constructing my writing assignments. And then there was one other thing, in our last meeting, you had said, sometimes students don't know what to do with our feedback. That never crossed my mind. It never occurred to me that a student wouldn't know what to do with my comments. It didn't occur to me that you would, it just seems like you hand it in, you get the comments, and you take the comments and you fix it and you hand it back. But that would explain why some of the papers I used to get back as the second draft and didn't have things fixed. I guess I would assume that they didn't have the time or didn't bother, and maybe some of the time it was because they just didn't know how to fix it. Well, I mean, I can see them sometimes feeling overwhelmed. I could understand that. But like actually looking at a comment and not knowing where to take it. I guess like that's how I interpreted that comment, is that some students might look at comments and then actually not know how to fix it, or like what to do with that feedback. Like you have the feedback in front of you, you have the paper. My assumption would be that if you were given that feedback and you have your paper, you would say, okay, this is what I need to do, this is where it needs to go. But I realized from that maybe not every student can do that. I mean, I knew I wanted something different, but I didn't know what it was. So that's one thing the workshop gave me, a kind of a tool, an approach that I could use. You know, I knew somehow I needed clearer instructions. I knew I wasn't getting what I wanted, but I really didn't know how to approach it. And so that was definitely a concrete improvement that I saw from going to the workshop.